Now to an unusual supermarket strike. It's not about wages or benefits. Grocery workers are fuming about the firing of their boss.
Bring us on the tea or file bankruptcy!
In the past 2 years, the world has been affected by COVID. In the United States, which leads the global economy, everyone knows that the assets of billionaires are constantly increasing. So, what is the average salary of ordinary citizens? When the media reports that their assets are rising and companies continue to recruit talents, the average salary in the United States has indeed increased. How much? Maybe even the Americans themselves do not know. Let us reveal this data today. Before you start, please remember to subscribe. Your support is very important to us. They inherited their father's business philosophy of putting customers first and trying their best to provide them with high-quality, straightforward products. MarketBasket was very popular and soon became one of the largest supermarket chains. However, in 1971 George sadly passed away. Mike also passed away in 2003. Although George's children held 51% of the shares, they may have felt they could not operate, so they decided to let Mike's son Arthur be the CEO. Arthur has been a grassroots employee at MarketBasket since high school. Started as a porter, cashier, store manager, department manager, and vice president, and finally officially became CEO in 2008. He is very popular with employees, and he also inherited his grandfather's will, insisting on putting the interests of customers first. Once the purchasing department talked to the wholesaler about a 10% discount, and Arthur directly instructed the employees to reduce the price of the product by 10% at the same time. Not only customers, but Arthur also attaches great importance to employees. Employee benefits far exceed their peers, not only dividends but also bonuses. Arthur even takes care of his employees' families, including an employee named Terry McCarthy, who has worked at MarketBasket since high school and became a branch manager after 35 years. Terry's daughter was involved in a car accident in 2012, falling into a coma. Arthur personally contacted Terry about the situation.
He asked me first, can that hospital handle her injury? I said, I hope so.
The second question he asked me, and he'd ask any one of you, is do we need to move her? And I say to you, who's we? We are MarketBasket.
After complicated surgery and long-term rehabilitation, Terry's daughter recovered smoothly. However, the sequelae of the car accident also made it difficult for her to find a job. Arthur sent her to MarketBasket to work with Terry. Arthur's friendly image and his attitude toward employees and customers made him popular. From 2008 to 2014, during Arthur's 6-year tenure as CEO, the company's profits doubled, making MarketBasket a leader in supermarkets. At this time, George's son, also named Arthur, who is a silver spoon, thinks that the company has good prospects and intends to take back the company's operating power. To distinguish, the less capable person is called Spoon. Since Spoon still owns 51% of the shares, Spoon has been in the business since 2013, criticizing Arthur on the board of directors, exaggerating Arthur's behavior as harming the interests of shareholders. After receiving the news that Spoon wants to seize power, employees of the company launched an online petition against the removal of Arthur. Finally, 10,000 employees signed up to support. However, under Spoon's careful layout, the proposal to remove Arthur passed without objection. On June 23, 2014, Arthur was kicked out of the company. Spoon also knew that employees liked Arthur, and he believed that as long as work, as usual, no salary arrears, and employees don't care who the boss is, he underestimated Arthur's influence on employees and doomed him to failure. The next day, 6 high-level executives resigned in protest, and the logistics minister planned to call on truck drivers strike. Hope that the shortage of goods will affect the operation of the supermarket, forcing Spoon to reinstate Arthur. Spoon, who received the news in advance, immediately sent a notice to the drivers in the logistics department, threatening that if they participated in the strike, they would be fired. As a result, most drivers still take the risk and strike. This is the beginning of a legendary strike. The next day, because of the strike by most of the drivers, 71 stores of MarketBasket soon ran out of stock, especially the fresh food that needs to be replenished every day. Faced with this situation, Spoon still decided to take tough measures. The other 8 senior executives who called for a strike were all fired. He successfully made more employees dissatisfied with him. Not only the logistics department but also branch employees began to act. Some joined the strike, and some posted in the store asking for Arthur's reinstatement sign. Even some employees called on customers to stop buying MarketBasket, including Terry.
I should have been fired because I'm being paid by a company that I'm telling people to boycott. He stood for me in my worst hours. I'll stand for him in his worst.
Spoon still believed in his gorgeous operation and decided to stimulate more employees. He immediately sent an email to the branch manager to tear up the sign, which successfully caused the opposite effect. The employees decided to post more signs.
We might put more signage up.
Spoon issued an internal notice, asking employees to return to work as soon as possible. If they return to work, they will be relieved of the past and have a chance to replace the senior executives who were fired because of the strike. At the same time, he also announced a job fair, suggesting that the employees are substitutes. The number of employees involved in the strike has increased again, and he has once again proved how inadequate he is.
I can find another job, but we'll never find another boss like that.
Market Basket is estimated to be losing $10 million a day due to strikes. Spoon continues to fire employees, and employees remain on strike. A successful strike requires not only internal solidarity but also the support of other stakeholders. It's inconvenient, but they also like Arthur very much. Market Basket's products are high quality and cheap because of Arthur's ability, so most customers support the strike. They put receipts from other supermarkets on the wall of Market Basket branches. Let Spoon know how many customers are lost due to his behavior. In addition, some customers leave messages in newspaper advertisements. Lots of customers and employees protested at Market Basket's headquarters and branches. Some media estimated that nearly 2 million people participated in the peak period. Even the mayor stated support. However, even though the strike continued for 6 weeks, Spoon still did not have any intention to make concessions. Until the evening of August 27, 2014, employees suddenly received the news that Arthur was about to return as CEO. It turned out that Arthur did not give up during this period. He persuaded banks and investment companies to raise enough funds to buy Spoon's shares. Spoon initially of course not agree to the acquisition plan, until the later state government worried that the continuous strike would affect employment. The governor of New Hampshire personally intervened to persuade Spoon. Spoon agreed to sell 51% of the shares to Arthur for $1.5 billion. 2 months of strike action. The driver who received the news went back to work that night and delivered the products to the supermarket shelves again. Customers who got the news from the news also went back to the Market Basket to shop. Of course, Arthur also came back.
And all I can say, it's great to be back together again.
As for Spoon, following his family's legal victory over Arthur, Spoon was given a seat on the board of directors, but never returned to the chain's daily operations. It can only be said that he puts all his abilities on luck. Here is Monoponey. Welcome to like, comment and subscribe. See you next episode.